Whoa! Oh, we are back for the. I guess this is the fourth episode of our bracket breakdowns from the NCAA tournament, hypothetical virtual bracket breakdowns. I am Jude Swisher, here today, joined by Jacob Hewgley from HMA Fantasy, Dysen Gould, who has been his partner, and they've been working through the previous brackets, and special guest Brock Zacherl from Clarion University. So. Thank you guys all for coming on. How are you guys doing?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Ready to get into this. I'm excited to talk wrestling.
And I'm excited, guys. Thanks for having me. I wanted to wait till you guys got the 149 bracket done and posted it to see how much I wanted to jump on, but I made an exception.
Nice.
Might have specifically waited to put anything like that out there until after.
Get you on. Nice.
But
so, for those who don't know the plan today, I think we're going to go through. We filled out some NCAA brackets. We did some picks. It's going to be 174 all the way up through 285 pounds. We also, I believe, I don't know if they're posted yet or not, but 125, 133, 41, 49, 57, 65 have all been recorded. So
we actually did 41 through 65 as one episode.
Awesome.
And went kind of quicker. That one should be out today.
Awesome. So
or should be out for you already.
I think it actually is out now.
Yeah.
By the time this podcast is out, the other ones will be out. So make sure you, if you're just joining now, make sure you go back and listen to them because they are.
Yeah, we have them scheduled so Brock couldn't watch it before he got on here.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Okay, so I mean, I figured we start at 174 pounds because we can just work up. And, you know, I think we're going to take it round by round, kind of keep it brief because we got a lot of things to go through. But, you know, the story is here. Number 1, Mark Hall. Number 2, Michael Kemmerer. You know, they've been the class of 174. You know, they both have the only losses they have to are each other. And, you know, they're 1-1 against each other right now. So it's a fair assumption that I think a lot of us picked for these in the finals. And if watching it on our website or on the YouTube channel, then Jacob, you can see on the screen that Jacob has compiled all of our brackets so that you can see for yourself how our picks and things like that. But if you're not listening on YouTube or things like that, we will still tell you, and it'll make a lot of sense. But I mean, let's start round 1. I guess we can work our way down. First of all, does anyone have anything to say about the pigtail match?
No.
Nope.
Yeah. I think the best way to go at it is just honestly kind of going like the 4 quadrants. And, you know, like the first round or two, if there's any like big matches, we can point them out. If not, then we'll just kind of like, you know, scoot along.
Awesome. Well, I mean, what would you guys say the biggest first round matches of 174 pounds would be?
I mean, looking at it, one that jumps off the page to me right away would be jumping down. I think it's about 120. Mikey Labriola and Dean Sherry. I think that it's probably pretty well known that Labriola would probably win this match. Dean Sherry, I just want to point out though, is a guy that pinned Devin Skatska earlier in the year. Put together a really, really good season, 24-8, and looking really good. Was big part of that Ryder upset over Minnesota.
Nice.
It's way back in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Way back in the beginning of the season. I mean, I don't know. So there isn't a ton of, incredibly, like, obviously, like, I think Joey Gunther, Spencer Carey, that'll be a good match. But I mean, other than that, there isn't, it's not super close. So, I mean, if anyone has any upsets and written down, please feel free to say something. But other than that, I think we go on to the next round.
Yeah, nothing really in the first round. I think the first round looks pretty good for all of us.
Mm-hmm. So then, starting right off at the top, Thursday night, we'll just work down the bracket, and Mark Hall versus Spencer Carey. I mean, I think we all picked Hall to make it straight to the finals. You know, he's always performed very well at NCAAs, and I don't see any reason to not think that he would do that now. So probably all the way through. Even though Carey has looked good. What were you gonna say?
I was saying, like, so when you're looking at, like, kind of going by quadrants, like, in that second round, you're going to end up having Mark Hall versus, either Carey or Gunther, whoever we picked. I think 3 out of the 4 of us picked Carey. Brock took Gunther. But, either way, I still feel like Mark Hall is going to be winning that match. Probably pretty handily, major decision. Is that probably what you guys got?
Yeah,
probably.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's been great this year, and like Jude was saying, him and Kimmer are kind of been head and shoulders of everybody else. One of the second round matchups that I was really looking forward to, would have loved to see, is that next one down, about 2:30, with Anthony Mantanona and Anthony Valencia, the Battle of the Anthonys. That matchup would be crazy.
So fire.
Oh my God, I don't know. What do you guys think about that one?
I took Valencia. I think Valencia was able to. I think he did end up getting majored possibly by Hall, or maybe it was like a 6-point decision or something. But he was able to get a couple double leg takedowns and stuff on Hall. I think he's real explosive, and I think he's touch better than Mantanona. Mantanona is a freshman, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I think Valencia just maybe a little bit more experience than Mantanona.
Man, Mantanona is going to be so much fun to watch over the next couple of years. That guy is crazy. Oh, yeah. I mean, just comes out just bombing people all over the place. Yeah. What?
I took Valencia same reason. He's older and he's just a freak athlete that he's at least connecting with 1 or 2 double legs. So I feel like that's going to be for him to deal with.
I mean, so my feelings on this match is really like...
Yeah, explain yourself, Jude.
Sorry, so I picked Mantanona to win. I think that this is actually, it can be a very even match, especially because Mantanona is, he has big move potential. But also that the reason I'm hesitant to pick Valencia is because, it's the same thing that we've already really known, is that for whatever reason he has not performed, at the NCAA tournament or across the season yet. And this year he really obviously he made the most growth and he was able to perform. But I'm still hesitant because we've seen him choke up, is what I'm saying. And I think the NCAA tournament, there's a lot of pressure riding, and it's a do or don't, right? It's a swim or sink. And so I'm going to pick Mantanona here to proceed to the quarterfinals.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could see that match going either way, man. All I know is it would be fireworks. Like, there's absolutely no chance that that's like a 2-1 match. There's zero chance.
No way.
But, cool.
Moving down. Oh, yeah. You want to go?
Sure. Moving down, you got Steyert versus either Smith or McNally. I think 3 of us had Smith winning that first round, and Brock, you had McNally. Tell us, what made you pick McNally? You got some kind of insider information that we don't?
Actually, well, we recruited McNally after, I think he was an ESU kid, and so when they dropped the program, we recruited him, and so I got to know him pretty well. And unfortunately, he didn't end up coming to Clarion, but I know his style. He brings a lot to the table, and he's a cradler, so I like to give Mac love whenever I can. So he's catching Smith in the first round cradle.
Nice.
That would be awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but it looks like no matter what happens, either way, we all got Steyert moving on to the next round. Yeah, I think he's looked really good this year, and there's not a whole lot of dudes in this bracket that can stop him.
Mm-hmm.
And then right below, we got Dylan Leidy and Sammy Colbray. I believe almost everybody has that same matchup. Again, Brock being different. Brock's got Connor Flynn. Tell us about that one. Connor Flynn and Colbray.
Flynn and Colbert, that first one.
Yeah.
I thought we were on the Lighty one. But anyway, so this one, basically watching Flynn at the conference tournament, I was really impressed. And he's a guy that's a really freak athlete that's always brought a lot to the table. And those Mizzou guys, they're real crafty and they find ways to get it done. So I like picking this round upset here.
Yeah. And he, correct me if I'm wrong, he's a freshman too, right?
No, I think he's older. I'm pretty sure he might be even a senior this year. I think you're thinking of Jack Hughes or whatever his name is.
There was 2 dudes at 74 this year. I'm thinking of whoever the other guy was, I guess. But they were both good. But yeah. And so we have I have Lighty moving forward. I have Lighty beating Sammy Colbray. But what else? What do you guys got?
Go Dysen, my man.
All right. I got Lighty beating Colbray. I think Colbray might be a touch small for the weight yet. I'm not sure. I believe never mind, he won't be small, but he dropped down from 84. So I just think maybe Lighty's just used to 74, and I think Lighty's already proven at this weight, and I think he gets Colbray.
Do you think that match is going to be a brawl? I went back and watched the Dylan Lighty matches, and he's very physical. I picked for that quarterfinal matchup, it's going to be Steyert versus Lighty, and I think that also will be a bigger brawl. I went and watched their match that they had at Midlands in the finals, and there was 30 seconds left, and they just got into basically a fist fight with collar ties, and Lighty ended up hitting a very nice, I believe it was a low double or something like that, and finished quickly on the edge. On my bracket, I have Dylan Lighty advancing all the way up to the semifinals to face Mark Hall. But what about you, Brock?
Yeah, so I picked Flynn over Lighty here, and so Lighty, honestly, I'll go out and say it right now. I think he's one of the most underrated guys out there right now. He's so unbelievably consistent at winning 1 or 2 or even overtime matches that it's one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. But especially at this level at Division I, wrestling like that, you're going to get burnt in a high stakes situation. Yep. So I have Flynn taking this win by hair over Lighty, who always is in close matches.
Yeah, I think I heard on FRL maybe the other day them talking about Lighty is, I think, 15-0 in overtime matches this year or something crazy like that.
That is literally insane. I can't even fathom that level of consistency. It's insane.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. But yeah, I think, for the most part, most of us have Lighty moving on. You took Flynn. What about the bottom half of the bracket? It looks like Cutler versus Kimball Bastion. I think that's probably going to be Cutler for all of us, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like the way he wrestles a lot.
Oh, yeah. And then we got Neil Richards and Caleb Romero. I think that one could be an interesting one. Neil Richards is a really, really underrated guy, just because, I guess,
athlete,
school. But man, he's awesome. He's consistently been really good this year. What do you guys think about that match?
Yeah, I watched him. We wrestled VMI this year in a duel, and I was absolutely floored with that kid. He was really impressive. Our guy actually had a really close match. Or no, that was the wrong way. But anyways, when I saw him wrestle out at VMI, I was really impressed. He brought a lot to the table, and the one thing is every time he got to a leg, he scored. So his finishes were always clean and crisp. He gets people's feet in the air, slams them down. So that's a guy that can score some points, and I don't care who's wrestling.
Did you hear that, Jude?
Did hear that.
It was crisp.
Okay, can we stop with that already?
That's Jude's favorite word.
Sometimes,
Brock, you'll eventually realize that me and Jacob love to pick on Jude.
Yeah. So
Oh,
sometimes.
hopefully I can hop in here soon.
All right, great. I can't wait. Sometimes, when you record, your brain doesn't work as well, and sometimes you say the same word
Over and
I
over
say
again.
so all the time. That's my thing.
Well, and so, for example, I don't want to go on a tangent here, but my interview with Anthony Cassar, I think I said, "That's special." Probably said it like maybe 6 or 7 times.
It's because you're special, Jude.
I was like, hey, so let's just keep moving on, all right? So, and then moving down, Devin Skatska, Mikey Labriola, that's going to be a good match. I'm going to take Skatska here, but I have always actually been a very big Labriola fan. I really think he has the potential to get it done. I know that it looks like here we're going 50-50 split with me and Jacob taking Skatska and Brock and Dysen taking Labriola. But guys, talk to me about this match. What do you think of it?
I'm taking Labriola because he's 2-1 against Skatska this year. He pinned him at Big Tens, and he beat him 7-5 in Sun victory at Cliff Keen. And Skatska beat him by decision 7-2 in the duel. But I'm taking Labriola. I think he's gonna improve to 3-1 on the year against Skatska.
Brock, what you think?
Yeah, I agree. Same reason. I think, especially the competition at this level, everyone's so tight. It's very hard to beat someone 3 times in a row, and I don't care how big the gap is. And so that loss to him, that didn't faze me. And just flat out, I think he's the better wrestler. He's really sound in all the positions. So I'm taking Labriola.
What do you think, Jacob?
Wait, hold on. Did you guys just say that Labriola won the last 3?
No, he's
2-1.
Skatska won the last 3 in a row.
No, Labriola won by decision. Wait a second. Maybe I was reading WrestleStat wrong.
You're reading it backwards.
Oh.
Yeah, Skatska's won 3 times in a row.
Dang it.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I don't care. Labriola's winning. No going back now.
Yeah,
we're already out in the deep waters. You might as well just stay there.
Wait, Skatska beat him at Vegas?
Yeah, I guess so. It was 3 times in a row. So
I gotta look this up right now.
Jacob,
you're lying to me.
WrestleStat pulled up.
Not in Vegas. Labriola won in Vegas.
Okay, because I thought I watched that match.
Brock did his scouting while he was in
Skatska won in the duel.
He may have gambled a little bit, but he definitely did some scouting as well. Maybe a little bit of wrestling in there.
Skatska won in the duel, and then they met twice at Big Ten. Skatska won in both.
Dang, I was really bad
researching
on that.
Yeah, I don't think I have to explain my pick anymore, Dyson.
Dang.
No.
That was bad research.
Down at the bottom, it's Kim Dog. I don't care who lines up against him.
Yep, absolutely.
Kim Dog.
Cool. And then going back up to the top, starting back up at the top quarterfinal, we have Mark Hall, Anthony Valencia. I think Dyson said it. Last time they met up, Valencia was able to take him down a couple of times, which not a lot of people are able to do. But at the end of the match, Mark Hall still kind of, handled him. So it's Mark Hall here for me too.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I have Mantanona, but I do think it'll be the same decision. Mark has just looked, every bit national finalist, national champion caliber, all season long. Very solid. The biggest thing about Mark Hall, I think every time I watch him, it just amazes me. It's just how heavy his hips are and how many shots people get in on his legs. And he's able just to stop with just his hips. He's very powerful, very strong. So I'm going to take the safe pick here, Mark Hall, even though Ant-Man might throw him, but who knows?
Yeah. Does anybody else have anything different for that one?
Nah, I got Hall, and like I was saying before, Valencia got to his legs a couple times, took him down, but Hall was able to major him 11-3. So I think it could be either a large gap, like a 6-point decision, or a major. I'll go with a major by Hall.
I think that in this situation, especially because bonus points, that's the only way that they would have pulled out this upset over Iowa.
It wasn't possible.
Nope.
Hall would have to push for a pin in every match, and I mean he's capable, I believe.
I think Clarion had a better chance of winning than Penn State.
Oh my gosh!
I mean,
wow. I don't know about that.
I mean, oh
And
sweet!
shots
Greg,
fired all over the
I
place.
I just got a notification from Zoom that we got unlimited minutes.
Yep.
I don't know.
No.
We can sit here and pick on Jude till tomorrow.
Yeah.
Great.
Um, But I mean that's Hall all day. Jumping down to we're gonna have the 4 and 5 seed hit unless your name's Brock Zacherl, because he likes to pick everybody else. But I got Leidy over Steyert. These guys have met before, and Leidy has won. Basically this year, if your name is not Mark Hall or Michael Kimmerer, then you cannot beat Dylan Leidy. So I got Leidy moving on to the semifinals against Hall.
I picked the same, even though I do think like when Leidy and Steyert wrestled, it was a close match. I already said this stuff. And Steyert definitely has the capability to win, but here I'm going to take the consistent guy. He's able to get it done. So and I like the way he's wrestling this year. So what do you think?
I got Leidy as well. He beat him 3-2 at Midlands, if my researching is correct. But that's what I read. So I got Leidy.
Might have to double check you on that.
Maybe.
What about you,
Brock? What you got?
I think his internet connection might have went.
Oh,
nice, good stuff. Well, we can have him vouch for his crimes later. But I say we move down to the next quarterfinal where we all have the same thing. There is Jordan Cutler over Caleb Romero. I don't know if they wrestled yet this season.
I don't believe so.
I don't think so either. This was a really hard one for me. I mean, it's hard, but it's not, because everybody knows the right choice is Cutler. He's wrestled awesome this year. His only loss coming to Mark Hall, and it was a 2 or 3 point decision. But man, I love that Romero double leg. He has that like Burroughs style double leg that I just love. He can get it on just about anybody, and I can definitely see him winning this match. Just at the end of the day, we've seen Cutler be so great over the past couple of seasons, and I have to go with Cutler in this one. And
I think that to beat a guy like Jordan Cutler, you need to have more than one. You need to have more than one really good move. Like you got to have a lot of dynamic offense, especially at this level of wrestling. And not that Caleb doesn't, but Cutler is a little more a veteran of NCAA wrestling. So I will go with the safe pick, Jordan Cutler.
Yeah, I'll agree with everything you guys said. Romero's looked real good this season, but I think Cutler's just on another level.
Awesome.
Yep, he's well coached. He'll be ready for the double leg. I know that. Coach Dylan will have him ready.
Brock, talk to us about your Steyert Flynn quarterfinal you got going on here.
Wait, you're surprised I picked Steyert to win?
No, I just want you to tell us your thoughts on that.
I just think Flynn had a good start, and then it ended with Steyert. Steyert's just a better wrestler.
I didn't see your bottom half. Do you have Flynn? Does he break through the blood round?
No, I don't have him breaking through the blood round. I will say that I regret one thing after looking back at this. I wish I think Labriola and Leidy hit, and I had Leidy winning. I wish I switched that now. But other than that,
I was gonna say you better not be changing on me and saying you wish you would have taken Skysk over Labriola now that you found my research.
No way. No,
I mean, we're already like in a hole. We might as well just stay there. I mean, there's no.
I didn't know about the other ones, but I thought for sure I watched them wrestle at Vegas and Labriola won. So that's the main reason why I went with that pick. And then I just went with what you were saying, and then I looked down.
All right. Well, now you know not to follow what Dysen says.
Yeah, for real.
I think Jacob might be the only one to trust out of us three because Jude
Hey, man, this is all I did for months. So when you said that, I was like, no, I'm looking it up right now. But yeah, so down at the bottom, Jude and I both got Skatska Kimmerer. This actually is a good matchup right here. I know that Kimmerer we all have in the finals, but if you guys remember back to the duel, Kimmerer kind of came out hot and got a couple takedowns on Skatska and got out to an early lead. And Skatska fought back and got either one or two takedowns to get back in the match and to bring it back close. And it came down to the last 30 seconds. Kimmerer kind of hanging on for the win.
No, I think the Kimmerer-Skatska duel, Kimmerer pinned Skatska in a cradle.
Was it it might have been Big Tens I'm thinking then.
Yeah, it might be Big Tens you're thinking.
Okay.
I know he pinned him in a duel.
I'm not perfect, Dysen. But at least I got the winner right. So, but either way, they wrestled. I'm pretty sure at Big Tens, I guess now, and it was a way closer match than I thought it was going to be. And so that's an interesting match to watch. If it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I got Kimmerer Labriola's 3-1 Kimmerer in a duel on I believe a last second takedown. So I think Kimmerer Skatska or Labriola Skatska, either way, I think Kimmerer gets a win.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Kimmerer's just so consistent, and he's while I think Mark Hall is the best wrestler at the weight, I think Kimmerer executes a really specific game plan that's why he wins. He's so good at implementing his game plan on people.
His wrestling IQ is really good, but also he is extremely disciplined in lots of positions.
Yeah.
And and that's that is truly why he beat Mark Hall in the Carver Hawkeye. You can say oh, Hall got tired and stuff like that, but when it comes down to it, Hall was undisciplined in lots of different positions.
Mm-hmm.
For example, he's riding the ankle, turning it out on top, but he's not doing anything with his hands, and Kimmerer just switches his hips and gets back and gets a quick 2.
Man, that takedown finish that he hit on Hall and Carver was awesome. Just consistently getting in on that high crotch and going the other way, and it was beautiful. And Hall it's like he couldn't figure out what was going on.
Yeah, I think that last takedown, Hall kind of went for a duck, and then Kimmerer just lowered his level as he went for the duck, and then just got right into the leg, and it was pretty sweet.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
But
and that's why Kimmerer. That's why we're all picking him to be a finalist, right?
Yeah,
and most of a champ.
And all three of the smart people in this group are picking him to win.
We can fight about this once we get through the semifinals.
Yeah. We'll be fighting.
Well, we're going to be there in just a second.
We'll be throwing virtual fists.
Okay, well, let's go through. Let's say, who do you got in your semi, Jacob Hewgley?
So, semis, there's not a whole lot to say, honestly, about this. It's going to be Hall and Kimmerer busting through.
Yeah.
I think both are good matches, but they're probably controlled wins, 5-3 or something like that for both of them.
Yeah.
I would like to Kimmerer Cutler is definitely one that I'd like to see because we didn't get to see it earlier this year. Cutler started the year number 2, Kimmerer number 3. So I'd just like to see that one kind of for Kimmerer to prove that he could beat Cutler and not just be the number 2 guy because he beat Hall one time, but beat Cutler as well.
Yeah. But
yeah, I see both pretty straightforward wins, like you said, controlled wins, 5-3, something like that. Maybe with riding times, it's 3.
Who knows? Was it last year or was it 2 years ago? But Hall's pinned people in this semifinal. He pinned McFadden. I think it was McFadden in a Merkel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. My sheet just fell down.
Yeah. But into the finals, I think it was destined to happen all year. Hall Kimmerer meeting up. We all have that matchup, and Brock Dysen and I all have Kimmerer winning the match. For me, that first match, I think Hall wasn't on his game as much as he could have been. So I think it was kind of skewed a little bit Kimmerer's way more than it should have been. And then in Big Tens, I think that it was honestly, it was a great match by Hall, but I think most of it was Kimmerer's mistakes. He got in on that situation where they're kind of scrambling and gave up the danger call, giving up the danger takedown, and then continues to sit there and gives up 2 back points. And I guess somebody said in an interview somewhere that he thought that he had gotten the takedown on Hall or something. But I guess there was.
You could tell, like, after that happened, like, he looked at his coaches and was like, "What? I'm a little confused here."
Yeah, so there was some kind of miscommunication, but either way, he's got to be on top of that. But that 4-point swing that, I'm not saying that it would have happened some other way. I think Hall still ends up getting the finish in that position. But, that's if Hall gets the finish, that's 2 points that Kimmer just gives up for no reason on the back points. So, he ends up losing by 3 points where it should have been a 1-point match if he's more aware of what's going on. And so I just think coming down to the third match, if they're both executing like they need to be, I think that Kimmer just has a little bit more. And, like Jude knows very well, Hall has a knack for losing in the finals.
All right, you didn't have to make it personal, but okay. Well, hey, I'll let you guys all say, and then I will state my thesis of why I think Mark Hall should be NCAA champ this year. Let me write my points down so I don't miss anything. Go, Brock.
So, like I said earlier, I basically explained exactly how I feel about it. I think Hall is the best wrestler at the weight. He's the most dynamic. He can score 100 different ways, offensively, defensively. But the thing that makes Kimmer really, really special is he's got a game plan, and he knows exactly where he's good, and that's where he spends a lot of his time. And if he spends his time in those positions, then he's going to win the match. So I'll take that consistent guy that knows right where he wants to be over the really dynamic Mark Hall.
Jude's writing a paragraph.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it.
I just want to write my things down so I don't forget anything.
It's probably going to be a poem.
Yes, I'll write poetry.
At homeschool work.
He's just writing. All he's writing is Penn State, Penn State, Penn State.
Remember, Jude. Remember. All right, go Dysen. Tell us why you think Kimmer should be.
I'll just go along with kind of what Jacob and Brock said. I think Hall's probably the better wrestler, but I think Kimmer just executes better, and he has a better game plan and knows how to attack Hall with and get the win. Kind of like when he knew how to stop that duck under that Hall hit, like him and his coaches were prepared for it, and they knew that he was going to hit that duck at some point in the match, most likely, and he was able to just lower his level and get it. So I think Kimmer was able to execute better, and I think he would have got the win.
Okay. Well, those are all, what I'm saying here, I'm picking, this is what I'm picking. And of course, like, Michael Kimmer is an incredible wrestler, and we all know he has potential to win, just as Mark Hall does. But this is why I think Mark Hall is going to win. So the first thing, Mark Hall won the last match. All right, that's number one. We all saw it.
It's 1-1.
It's 1-1, right? But that goes back to in the match at Carver. We could all agree that was not peak Mark Hall. He looked pretty bad, as far as Mark Hall goes. Like, he tried like a double underhook hip toss right off the gate. Like, it looked like he was not taking Kimmer as seriously as he should have. Well, then, we can all pretty much agree on that.
Can we?
But also, I think that not only did Hall look bad, but I think also Kimmer looked very, very prepared for that match. It looked like he was putting a lot of pressure on himself, and he wrestled very well that match. Now, take it back to Big Ten. Mark Hall's he's focused. Now he's number 2 in the country, and he wants to prove to everyone else, hey, I am number 1. And so what we saw was Hall was on point. Hall was wrestling as good as we've ever seen him, and he was able to beat Michael Kimmer. I think that the only way that Kimmer would beat Hall is if Hall is not wrestling his best, because I think Hall's peak is better than Kimmer's peak. That's what I'm thinking. I think that Hall is consistent in positions. I think that he's very strong. I think that he has all the makings of a national champion, and I think that he would get the bookend victory over Michael Kimmer here in the NCAA finals. So,
No
there anything
matter
like glaring with that? Like, that's not absurd. It's not an absurd pick, is it?
no, absolutely not.
No.
Oh, no way. No.
I think honestly, I think it's more of an upset to pick Kimmer. You know,
Yeah,
I think
100%
Hall's
agree with
the guy. You know,
Yeah. Yep.
But either way, even if he's the favorite or not, he's on a short list of people that got covered twice.
True.
But yeah, all right. But that's 174. You know, as far as All Americans go, you know, obviously Cameron Hall in the finals, and then for me, it's Leidy third, Cutler fourth. I think those are the clear cut 3 and 4 guys for me. And then below that, you know, Steyert, Romero, Skatska, Valencia, guys have all had great years. I think that they battle it out, and it shakes out like that for me.
I think Brock has something personal against Dylan Leidy.
I just don't think he brings enough to the table. You wrestle tight matches like that all the time, you'll get burned eventually. People figure him out. Well, like I said earlier, what he has done this year has been the most incredible. He's a Big Ten guy. He went to Vegas. Like that, that level.
Like,
of
if
consistency.
anybody could do it, it would be Leidy, right? If anyone could win,
Yeah,
whatever,
100%.
6 close matches in a row, it would be Dylan Leidy.
Yeah.
My AAs I have, it's going to go Hall, Kemmer, Leidy, and then Steyert. I think Steyert would beat Cutler on the backside, and then Cutler 5th, Smith 6, Mantanona 7, and Romero 8.
You got Joe Smith and Mantanona making runs.
I know that. I do think that.
He likes the Oklahoma boys.
What can I say? John Smith is my slime.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no!
Gosh, can we make that a shirt? Like,
I think you're watching too much Tiger King.
I was thinking about what's his face? Seth Gross shirts where they say Seth Gross is my slime. Make them John Smith shirts. John Smith is.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
All right.
Where did that even come from? Like, why John Smith?
He's the head coach of Okie State.
We have never mind.
I think that he could propel Joe Smith, who's been a very, very good wrestler. I think he could propel him to an AA this year.
All right. Well, down at the bottom, Brock, Dysen, what you guys got to say about your A's?
Dysen, you go first, Dysen.
All right. I got Kemmer, Hall, Cutler, Leidy, Steyert, Labriola, Romero, Valencia. I think Cutler beats Leidy. I think he's just a little bit more proven. Last couple of years, maybe. I think he beats Leidy, and then Steyert over Labriola and Romero over Valencia.
So I got Kemmer, Hall, Cutler, Steyert, Valencia, Leidy, Romero, and Skatska. Skatska's didn't he lose to Dean Cherry earlier this year?
Yep.
That happened. Yeah. So yes, that's what I remember that. So that was like my weird stigma with him. I didn't remember he got pinned. I thought he just lost to him. So that was like a weird aura with him. But I had him fighting back to he AA'd and then Romero. The way things lined up, I had Steyert beating Leidy in the Conci semis, and then the rest is pretty standard. I'm a big fan of Valencia too. I like the way he wrestles. So
I feel like with Valencia, I'm hesitant on picking him. I know everyone else picked him to AA.
I totally understand. I get it.
I just think he's a choke
He's
artist.
hungry.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
Flying squirrels are the move. All right?
Okay, I'm not gonna argue with that one there.
I'm not picking against a dude that likes to jump over people.
I guess Zeke Jones is not Jude Slime.
I guess not.
All right.
Well, I think that about does it.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes to show, like, 174, we all have different picks because, like, you know, aside from Hammer, Call, and whatever, the top 2 ones, 3 through 8 are all very, you know, they're all very close together. At least the 4 through 8 are. But, you know, goes to show how this is a very deep bracket. There's a lot of really good wrestlers who didn't make it through. But you know, we still have 3 more of these to go through. So I say we step on it and get through it.
All right. So 184. I think this is honestly, I think 149 and 184. Obviously, Brock on here can probably attest to that. Are the two biggest up for grabs weights, right? There's all the other weights, the eight other weights. I think we can all probably agree that there's a set top couple guys where we're like, okay, these 4 dudes could win it, or these 2 guys could win it. I think with 84, there's so many guys that could win this thing, and there's so many dudes that could win this, and we went 2 and 2. 2 of us got Brooks, 2 of us got Hewgley.
I thought for sure I'd be the only one picking Hewgley.
Yeah.
Hoagie boy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this one's crazy because it could happen all kinds of ways. But when I sat down and actually started writing through these and picking, I don't know. It can go all kinds of different ways, but I think there might be a little bit more of a pecking order than we think.
Right.
What
brackets do they find out who's in the pecking order?
Yeah, because I sat down to do it, and I was like, oh, wow, this one's going to be crazy. I'm just going to pick all kinds of stuff. And then every match, I'm like, okay, well, this guy's going to win. This guy's going to win. I'm like, it wasn't until I got to the semifinals where I actually had to make some heavy thought happen.
Right.
But, the first round, I feel like there's not much wiggle room. A lot of us have the same ones. I had one big it's not a big upset, but my upset that I really like is about 129. You have Matthew Waddell of Chattanooga and Chris Weiler of Lehigh. Waddell's looked really good this year. He's had some big wins. He's just hung with a lot of big name guys really close, and so I kind of liked him to break through and get a win in the first round. But besides that, there's not a whole lot of big matches in the first round. I think another one to look at would be about 125 with Montalvo and Johnny Sebastian. All of us ended up going Montalvo, but I think Johnny Sebastian definitely that's a winnable match for him.
I posited that one too.
Oh man, do you remember in the virtual NCAAs on Twitter where it's Johnny Sebastian drops first round match to Anthony Montalvo, and then I just remember seeing Johnny Sebastian retweet it, and he's like, "Dang it, Johnny!" It was very funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
Johnny. And then Johnny came all the way back through, and I think he AA'd or maybe made blood round. I don't remember.
Yeah, but besides that, the first round I think kind of goes pretty chalk. I mean, there's we have a couple differences here and there, but nobody's making crazy runs from the first round. So what do you guys think? Second round matchups. What are you guys looking at? Dysen? What you got?
I got Luan over Harvey. I think Luan's looked real good this year. Been pretty dominant, and I think I'm going to go a major decision over Harvey. And then I got Montalvo over Morgan, which is a minor upset, 9/8, but I think
that's a really good match right there.
Yeah.
Second round, Montalvo Morgan is a really good match, and I wouldn't blame you either way you went. And in fact, we split it. I ended up picking Montalvo just because I've really liked watching his matches this year, and I think he's done. I don't know. He just kind of outperformed my expectations, especially when they thought Gear was going to be at 84, and then kind of threw him in. So I really like him, but that match could go either way. Morgan's looked great, especially when he beat Bonacorsi in the duel. So what do you got, Jude?
Yes.
I'm just looking through this first round. I actually think I pick it pretty chalk. I don't think I have any upsets. I mean, Andrew Morgan, that's not an upset. No, I think everyone gets through that I think it should. I'm going to take Caffey over Assad, Venz over Bonacorsi, Brooks over Jordan. Pretty standard, I think.
I went pretty standard. I picked Morgan. Basically, just because I like the way he wrestles. Well, I don't necessarily love the style. The way he wrestles it takes a lot away of what the other guys are trying to do. So that's why in a tight match like that, I took him over Montevallo.
Mm-hmm. Down in Caffey Assad, I took Assad the last 2 times I wrestled, but I think Caffey just got some. I think Caffey just got Assad's number. I think Caffey's gonna beat him.
I think so too. Caffey, it's interesting. Like Caffey really emerged probably after January when he really started. Like it was clear. Like, oh wait, yeah, Cam Caffey, he's actually wrestling incredibly well this season.
Yeah,
I remember, like the beginning of the season. Obviously it's just the heat, and Taylor Venz was number 2 for a little bit, and then he slowly slipped down. But Caffey really emerged as one of the top competitors in this weight class, especially after the heat and all that went down. So I've been a big fan of Cam Caffey and his haircut. So.
Yeah. Caffey is definitely the bracket buster here for me. I mean, I don't think none of us picked him past the quarterfinals, but if you told me 184 has a surprise finalist, that's the first name that pops in my head.
Oh yeah.
And just he's looked great, and he super close match with Brooks in the Big Ten finals. I thought he was going to come back and get him, but I think this round pretty much goes chalk for all of us, though. Aside from the Morgan Montalvo. Well, and Vince Bonacorsi. Looks like we're split on that one too. Me and Jude have Vince winning, and Brock and Dysen have Bonacorsi. So that one definitely is a toss-up match for me. And I sat there and I looked up stats and tried to figure out what I wanted to do there, and because they both have all the talent in the world, but just. I haven't seen the consistency out of either one of them that I would like to see. And so, I could see either one of those dudes making a final, but at the same time, they could both lose early. So I just ended up going with Venz just because, he's a return All-American. He's been here, done this. So I just ended up going that way.
I got to say exactly the same. Nino is still an underclassman, and Vince is a senior this year, right?
I think he might have been a junior. I think
he might be a junior.
I think he did as a freshman.
Regardless,
not sure.
He's been a guy who's, he's been right there all season long. He's been very consistent. As much as I like Bonacorsi, and I do think he will AA eventually, I'm not going to pick him over Vince right now, right yet. Maybe someday in the future. But I got Vince winning.
I took Bonacorsi. I think, like you said, neither of them have been overly consistent, but I think Bonacorsi's been maybe a touch more consistent with wins over guys like Bolin, and that's just one that sticks out to me. I think he gets the win over Venz. I think he's just been had a couple more quality wins this year than Venz.
Yeah, and it looks like Brock's pretty high on Bonacorsi. So what are your thoughts?
Oh yeah. So I like Nino. I've known of him for a long time. He's a PA boy, and the thing that I think makes him really special and why I picked him to do really well is every single time that kid wrestles, he gives himself the best chance that he can to win, and that's all a kid can ever do. So the second that they blow the whistle, he's attacking, and for a guy to beat him, you got to be ready to score quite a bit of points. So that's basically why I picked him. And now that I look at it, I don't even have Ben's placing. I'm going to have to see who he ran into the backside because that's bold. But, I'm really high on Nino, so I rolled with him.
I'm a big Bonacorsi guy, too. He's a PA kid, AAA. I think he wrestled, probably 8
Is that shots fired at Brock?
No, I'm just saying
what. Yeah, what was that? I was gonna say.
No, I'm just saying. I've watched him for years now, and Bonacorsi he's just very exciting, and I like him quite a lot. So.
Yeah, Jude, right. I was AA, right?
Hey.
Oh, he knew, and he threw it in there.
AAA, and he's the one that you're picking to make the finals here. So, all right.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
let's, keep moving.
moving on to next round. Luan Montalvo. I think it's a good matchup. But at the end of the day, I love Luan, man. I love how he wrestles.
Yeah.
I grew up in Georgia, and he was actually a year or two younger than me, and so I got to watch him wrestle a lot. In fact, he at one of the tournaments when I was growing up, he actually wrestled my buddy. And my buddy was state finalist that year, and he got teched in the second period by Luan. And so it was super fun to watch him wrestle all throughout high school. And he is just a gunslinger, man. Like the guy, every time he steps on the mat, like I watched an interview with him where they like talked about his style being like throwing the kitchen sink at you. And he was like, well, yeah, but it's more calculated throwing the kitchen sink. And so
he knows where he's throwing the kitchen sink.
He fully knew. Like, he's like, yeah, that's definitely my style. It's a little bit more calculated, but like that's definitely it. And he does so many cool moves. That I love watching him wrestle. I wanted to pick him all the way with all of my heart, but I just couldn't. But I got him winning this round.
Right. Then I think, I'm also going to take Luhan. And I think in the next round, I'm going to take Hewgley over to Prey. And then we will have a lovely Luhan Hewgley semi. So.
Yeah, I got Luan over Montalvo. I'm pretty high on Montalvo. He's had a great freshman year, but I think Lujan beat him in the duel 4-0. So I think he's able to keep that result, and I think it'll be like a controlled 6-3, 5-3 decision for Luan. Mm-hmm. Then I got down below that. I got Hewgley.
I said it wrong the first time.
Jacob was the one who told me I was saying
it's Hewgley.
I interviewed him yesterday too.
How this name?
You telling me you interviewed the guy and called him the wrong name?
No, I did not call him the wrong name. I actually started to. I was like, and today joining me is Trent. Hewgley. And I was like, I said it right then. I was like, yeah, Hewgley.
Wrestlers can be so good and they can win all these tournaments, and we see their names all the time, and we still mess it up. I don't get it.
Until like halfway through this year, I wasn't sure if it was Luan or Lujan.
Well, I think we're kind of
or Lujan.
We might be kind of brushing over that match a little bit though. Like Hewgley and Dupre. It happened.
That's gonna be a barber.
That's honestly one of the best matches of the tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, they're 1-1, so this would be a rubber match. Hewgley eked it out in sudden victory the first time with, I believe, it was a ride out, right? Or it might have. It was
Hewgley beat him 2-1 in tiebreaker in the duel, and then Dupre beat him by decision 3-2 at scuffle.
Yeah. So that's a super close match. I think that's a toss-up. That's a coin flip for me. I was surprised, actually, that all four of us picked it. But I don't know. I feel like I couldn't pick against him, man. That underhook series, that like explosive underhook ankle pick thing that I don't even know what it is that he does is awesome.
By the way, if you want to figure out how he started to develop that underhook, check out my interview.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Shameless plug. But yeah, so I mean, I what do you guys think? Because it's really up in there. What do you got, Brock?
I have Hewgley just because that kid is a gamer, and you can see in his face and when he steps on a mat that he wants it, and that's the one thing that I don't really care who in this bracket he's wrestling. I can almost say with 100% confidence that Trent wants it more. So I think that's going to be a really tight match, and the person that digs deeper is going to win. I think that person's going to be Trent in that Prez match. The rest I have is kind of stock, and then I have Bonacorsi upsetting Bolin, but he has a win over him this year, I believe, right?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. I mean, I think the bottom could go a bunch of different ways, too. Brooks, Caffey, we've seen it before. Brooks won the last one. I don't think that's, grounds for saying that Brooks, he just wins again. I think it's another really close match, and I think Caffey could pull it out. But Brooks, to me, is is almost that like Zahid-esque style. Like he's tall and lanky and like just lots of shots. And I mean, he kind of reminds me of him. And so, yeah, I got Brooks taking out Caffey. I think Caffey's kind of crazy, wild style. It works against a lot of people, but I think Brooks being, one of the best guys in the bracket, I see Brooks skating by that one again. And down at the bottom, Vens Bolin. I actually picked Vens, and that's another one where I feel it could go all kinds of different ways there. I mean, I would be absolutely fine saying Bonacorsi, but again, for me, it's just a little bit more of a seasoned veteran, and I think it's a good storyline to see, the rubber match of the Brooks-Vens matchup in the semifinals, where Vens obviously is the only loss that Aaron Brooks has on the season, but Brooks avenged that with a pin in the Big Ten semifinals.
Yeah.
So it would be cool to see that the third time. So I got Vens over Bolin.
I think that for me, let's see, I picked Lujan, and then it all goes pretty chalk. I think I'm going to take Brooks over Caffey again. Basically for all the reasons Jacob just said, but also like, even though it was a close match, I do think it wasn't like there was no bad calls or anything. It was decisively Brooks, So I do think it's replicable, Brooks's win. My other thing is like, it's pretty rare that Penn State guys, take their lumps at the NCAA tournament, right? A guy like Brooks, who came in as a really good freshman, he took one loss, which he avenged, and then he's only been getting better since then. I think, he definitely can punch his ticket here, be an All-American his first year. So, and then below that, I'm going to take Bolin over Vens. I've liked the way Hunter Bolin's wrestled all year long. He wrestled hard with a high pace, and I think he gets the win over Vens here.
I already kind of discussed my top half, but down the bottom, I got Brooks over Caffey. I think, like Jude said, Brooks is kind of I think he wins that pretty handily. A very close match, 1-point, 2-point match, but I think he controls the match and gets the win. Then down at the bottom, I got Bonacorsi over Bolin just because he beat him early in the year. And I think that was like the last duel of the season to Pitt Virginia Tech, so it wasn't that long ago.
Interesting. Okay. And then Brock, did you told us already, didn't you?
Oh yeah. I told you guys about my picks.
All right then. Hey, I think we get into these semifinals, huh? Jacob, start us off, my man.
Yeah. So up at the top, this is one that like I said, I love Lujan. I've loved watching the guy wrestle for a long time, and I wanted to pick him so bad. But they've met one time. What?
Nothing. I'm just poking fun. Keep going.
See, it doesn't work when you try.
All right.
But Lujan and Hewgley have met once this year, and Trent took the win there. And I saw that, and I still was like, I still want to pick Lujan. But then I went on Flow and I watched the match, and man, like Trent picked him apart. The first two takedowns of the match, I mean, it really looked like a drill partner. And so I hated seeing it, but I just couldn't, with a clear conscience, pick Lujan. And so I got Hewgley just because of how good he looked in their matchup before. And then down at the bottom, Brooks Vens. Brooks has been Mr. Inconsistent, and Vens has been Mr. Inconsistent. Brooks has been great, and so he's looked so good this year. He's beat everybody he's wrestled, and so I got him moving on with the win over Vens in that rubber match.
Nice. I think I'm going to take Lujan over Trent in the semifinals just because like we talked about, Lujan throws a kitchen sink at people. And in a situation like this, like, no holds barred, correct?
Yeah.
I think that also, like, Lujan, he's a 3-time qualifier. And, I think that as a senior, he's not going to let anything stand in his way, and he's going to punch his ticket to the finals. Especially because Trent's also, he's a freshman. He's still a young guy. And I don't know. I think I'm just leaning Lujan here. Obviously, it can go either way, and so not particularly cemented in my decision. So, and then bottom half, I'm going to take Brooks over Bolin. Same reasons as Jacob, just because, Brooks looks very consistent this year, and Penn State's their statistics of
Here we
wins
go.
in the semifinals. It's like 84%. They have an 84%.
Oh, who cares?
I think there's a mute button, isn't there, Jacob?
Oh my God!
I
Exactly.
had
Who
to say it.
cares, man? It's different people.
All right. Well, fine. I mean, I still think Brooks the better wrestler here.
Jacob, I think there's a mute button.
Jesus, there is. I'm about to find it.
I'll just leave the call, guys. Not a big deal. All right, Brock, tell us, my man.
So I have Hewgley over Lujan, and just kind of like when they wrestled before, it was pretty one-sided, and I think typically guys to throw the kitchen sink against a guy that's really sound from an underhook, that gives the underhook guy a lot of opportunities to get to where he wants to be. So I'm picking Hewgley, and then Brooks Bonacorsi. I'm taking Bonacorsi. He's a guy that lives on people's legs. He's going to have a high-scoring match. He's used to it, and it's not going to bother him as much as it's going to bother Brooks in a high-stakes situation. That's how I see it playing out.
I'm going to go Hewgley over Lujan because, like Jacob said, he kind of picked apart Lujan at Cliff Keen, Las Vegas. And also, like Brock said, guys like throw that kitchen sink at you, kind of just feeds right into Hewgley's style of that underhook and pushing into people and the knee picks and ankle picks and stuff like that from the underhook. And then down the bottom, I got Brooks over Bonacorsi. I got Bonacorsi making a run, but I think it ends here with Brooks. He's been real consistent this year, and excited to see what Brooks does beyond this year.
Yeah. And this, man, the finals, I think all kinds of different matchups can happen. But we do have a lot of the similar names. When I look at the finals, these two guys have been great this year. I got Hewgley and Brooks. They've been awesome. I think, as far as consistency goes, they're two of the top ones in this crazy weight class. But this is a real style clash for me. And that kind of underhook, like really sound defense, kind of short, stocky thing that Hewgley's got going on. I don't even know how to describe it, but I just don't think it matches up as well against Brooks with that more like Zahid kind of feel where he's tall and lanky and long and
also explosive and strong.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
lots of offense.
It really did pain me so much because I hate picking Penn State guys, especially when I'm here with Jude.
All right.
But I couldn't pick against him, man. And every matchup that came his way in this tournament, I can see him winning the match. And he's looked awesome this year. I honestly, I think it was a great decision for them to pull the red shirt because they needed it. But I honestly kind of wish they would have kept him in red shirt because next year, dude, they got so many guys at 74, 84, 97. 285 that are coming in freshmen. It would have been cool to see all those guys stay on the same year. But I got Aaron Brooks, man. Yeah, he's just looked great this year. So
I mean, big facts. I also am taking Aaron Brooks to win.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys probably are you're gonna be like, fine, whatever. Of course, Jude's gonna pick Aaron Brooks, but man, I also think that I have him beating Lujan in the finals, which would be a barn burner of a match. But Brooks is fantastic with so much varied offense. Like he probably took down Abasad like 3 or 4 different ways, and it's just like completely different. And it just goes to show like how much fun he has out on the mat, how little he like sticks to something that like relies on something, but he's able to keep people guessing because he has so many different, offense, avenues that are open to him. And a guy like that, I think he's the makings of a national champion. And he's my pick here.
You mentioned Brooks Assad match. I'm drawing a blank right now. Can you remind me who won that duel?
Yeah, Brooks did.
No.
Brooks beat Assad.
He's talking about the duel, not the match, man.
Oh, the duel? Oh, slip in my mind.
I believe that was a Hawkeye win.
Oh man! All right, great.
So let's hear from the Wolfpack down at the bottom. What you got, Brock?
So I have Hewgley winning, and I see a match where Bonacorsi's taking a lot of his shots. They're not perfect. If you watch him wrestle, he takes a lot of imperfect shots, and I see Hewgley stand him up with hooks a lot and making him pay with each one of them. So I see it being a really favored match for Hewgley, and it's why he's going to come home a champ.
I got Trent Huggy Boy Hewgley. No! Dang it! Trent Huggy Boy Hewgley. Hewgley. I got Hewgley winning this match. I think his underhook can pose problems for Brooks, and I think he is kind of like Jacob said, is like short, stocky thing, as Jacob said, going on.
Reminds me of myself.
So I think that poses problems for Brooks, and I think he's able to come out with the win over the Indy Lion.
Yeah. This weight really was crazy though. If you would have told me any number of guys, like if you would have said Bolin, like Caffey, Dupre, Lujan, like any of these guys, if you would have said they won, Bonacorsi, I would have been fine with it. So
I'd be like, oh yeah, I see that, makes sense.
Yeah,
but it's exciting. What's your AAs, Jacob?
So AAs, I got Brooks, Hewgley, and then I got Luan, Dupre, Vins, Caffey, Bolin, Assad. And when I look back at it, the blood round was tough for me because I ended up having to knock out Bonacorsi, and because I had Dupre and Bonacorsi meet in the blood round, and that I hated that one. I hated that one so bad because I wanted both of them. But the way it shook out for me, I had to pick one. And then, I fortunate for Assad, I had Assad hitting Montalvo in the blood round, where I think Assad's really a fringe All-American, and I didn't pick him just because I tend to like the Hawks. But I just the way my bracket broke down, it ended up he kind of snuck in. But yeah, those are my top 8. What about you, Jude?
My top 8 are, I think it's almost the same guys that you have, but just in a different order. I'm gonna take Brooks over Lujan, and then Hunter Bolin, Cam Caffey, Hewgley. I have 5th. I just said it wrong again. I feel bad. Dupre 6, then 7, and Morgan 8. And I mean, it's really just you just shuffle them around. Because all these guys are so close. And that's what makes this weight in particular so fun to pick, is because we all have completely different, outcomes.
So, I gave you guys $1 for saying Hewgley wrong. I'd be broke and you guys would be rich.
Great. I love being rich. Brock, give us your AAs.
So Hewgley at first, Bonacorsi, Lujan, Brooks, Duprez, Bolin, Caffey, and Morgan at 8. Assad was the other. I forget exactly who he ran into on my bracket, but I really would have liked to see him get in there to AA. But I think the top 4 for me, shuffle those 4 around. I wouldn't say Bonacorsi is one of the top tier, but I would say Hewgley, Lujan, and Brooks are definitely in the top 3 of that bracket. Bonacorsi had a really good tournament. The rest, like you said, everyone's so close that you could kind of shuffle them around however you want, wherever they hit in the bracket. No one's really going to argue with
Right.
you. Caffey, like you guys mentioned, is the dark horse. I think he brings so much to the table that, if he goes into this tournament hot, you could see him, getting into the finals or, doing really well. So 7th, I think, might be even a little low for him, but the rest I'm pretty content with.
Mm-hmm. And then Dyson, how about you, my man?
I got Hewgley, and I think we should just spell Hewgley's name Highgley. GH. Like hi. So
Hi.
or I can just wave when I say it. Hewgley. Brooks, Luan, Dupre, Bonacorsi, Bullen, Caffey, Assad. I got Assad beating Montalvo, Dupre beating Venz, Bullen beating Carlson, and Caffey beating Morgan in a blood round.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, I mean, it's all been said, but what a crazy weight class this is.
Yep.
We could talk about it for hours.
All right, guys, and that's where the episode's going to end. We had to cut this one short just so it's easier for you guys to consume it. Obviously, this could go on for hours and hours and hours, so we're going to cut this one in half. Just do 174 and 184 and then split it up for the next episode. It's going to be 197 and heavyweight. Y'all stay tuned for that. And, yeah, until then, guys.